Hello, bookworms. I just got home from work not long ago, and earlier tonight while I was at work, the Book Dreams administrator, Brianna, messaged me and told me that several of you had been asking her what exactly my books were about. She told me that you knew that I wrote horror fiction, but that you would like me to be a little more specific. So, A, thank you for the interest in my fiction, and B, thank you, Brianna, for having me as the featured author in your book group this week. It has been a lot of fun. My latest release, Kill Factor, is about a 140-page novella. It's about this alcoholic named Lamarcus who escapes from a mental ward to rescue his young daughter from her psychotic, drug addicted mother, and another patient flees with him to assist. However, when Lamarcus meets the other man's beautiful, sadistic, and utterly evil sister, he realizes that the madness has only begun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, it's only like 130, 140 pages. It's fast, but it's violent. So yeah, consider yourself warned. All my stuff's violent, so just a heads up. And then earlier this year in January, if you like vampires, I released a vampire novel called Alive Undead. Check out that killer cover by Don Noble. Yeah, Don Noble did all my covers, actually, except for one of these books. I have 11 books. I'll just go through all of them. So, yeah, there was Kill Factor. He did that cover, and then Alive Undead. He did all these covers except one, and I'll point that one out. But, yeah, if you like vampires, and if you have even a fraction as much fun reading this as I had writing it, I guarantee that you will have a blast with Alive Undead. And if you like haunted houses, I have a haunted house novel called Autumn Gothic. This one won a bronze medal at the Godless Awards just a couple of weeks ago for best novel. So I guess that means it finished third place. I mean, there were a lot of great books in there, man. So I was just like fucking happy as hell to even be nominated, man. I was surprised, but yeah, Autumn Gothic. But there's a whole lot more to it than just a haunted house novel. It's also like a road novel, man. It starts out on the West Coast in both Los Angeles and San Francisco. And there's this huge cast of characters that chase each other all the way across America. And then they all end up in this huge haunted mansion in the mountains of West Virginia in which things go terribly, terribly wrong on Halloween night. So yeah, Autumn Gothic, if you like haunted house novels. And if you like serial killers, I have a serial killer novel called Flesh Rehearsal. And but I mean, there's a whole lot more to it than just a serial killer. I mean, there's a lot of music in this one. I know a lot of sex and drugs and booze, and of course murder and mayhem, and a lot of movement. People all over America, and my characters can't sit still. But yeah, this one actually is one of my favorite things I've ever written. It's hard to pick, but this one might be my favorite of the novels, possibly. But I don't know, it's hard to pick, man. Autumn Gothic or Flesh Rehearsal. I don't know, I love them all, actually. Of course, I'm biased. And then, if you like short fiction, I have two collections of short stories, Sinister Mix and Perpetual Dread. Sinister Mix was nominated for a Splatterpunk Award last year. So I think more people have read it than they have read Perpetual Dread, which was released about a year earlier. But all of these stories are dark, man. But there's like a different vibe to me with each of these. I think the stories in Perpetual Dread might be a little bit darker than the stories in Sinister Mix, although they're both fucking dark, man. I mean, who are we kidding here? Very violent. So. But yeah, if you like short stories, check them out, man. Perpetual Dread and Sinister Mix. Crazy stuff in there, man. Crazy fucking stories, dude. And do you like cannibals? If so, I have a pair of connected novellas, Road Harvest, and its sequel, Road Narrows, in which cannibalism features quite prominently. But these are also, as the titles suggest, road novellas. I'm actually writing the third right now, It's called Grinding Road, but it probably will. I mean, I'm almost finished with the book. Like literally any day now I'll be finished, but you won't see the book till 2025 at the earliest. I have like 5 or 6 books right now finished that aren't even out, and then I have another one called Old Too Soon that's coming out in November through Potter's Grove Press. It's a violent coming of age LGBTQ horror novel. It's like 70,000 words. Yeah, it's a novel, and it's But anyway, that'll be out in November. So, and then I got like 5 or 6 other books. So I'm gonna have to pick like 2 or 3 to publish next year. So I doubt Grinding Road will be out until 2025. But these two do not have to be read in tandem or in any order. You can read A Road Harvest first, or you can read A Road Narrows first. It really doesn't matter. And then when I finish with Grinding Road, you can read that one first. It doesn't matter, man. They're all just. But yeah, cannibalism and movement, man. We'll just say this, man. Road Harvest starts on the West Coast, and it's just like a killing spree that goes all the way across the country and ends in Washington, D.C. And then Road Narrows is a killing spree that begins on the East Coast and travels all the way back across America to Los Angeles, where it ends. And then the third book, the one I'm writing now, is mainly set in Los Angeles, but again, my characters don't sit still. They're all over the fucking place. But yeah. Yeah, if you like cannibals, man, if you like some really dark, violent, transgressive fiction too. There's a lot more to it than just cannibalism, of course. That wouldn't be much of a story, but yeah, you'll see what I mean. We'll talk maybe cannibal politicians, maybe some serial killers who work for the government and go around and get their food for those cannibal politicians, perhaps. Let's see what else. Oh, if you like memoirs. I don't know if memoirs are your jam, but if so, I have a nonfiction book, basically an autobiography called Writing and Rising from Addiction. This is the only book I have out that Dawn Noble did not do the cover for, and I never intended to write this book, man. My second ex-wife suggested I write this. This book was published in 2017, so this book is 6 years old. But it's, and I'm 50 now, but I wrote it when I was 43. So it was published when I was 44, but I wrote it when I was 43. So the writing in it is 7 years old. And yeah, man, I never intended to write it, but Carissa was like, dude, you gotta write your fucking life story, man. This shit's insane. I was like, and she was far from the first person that had ever told me that over the years. But I told her the same thing I always told everybody else. No one would fucking believe it, Carissa. I mean, for real. And she's like, so just fucking write it anyway. I was like, well, I'll start it and see what it looks like. And I did. And I was like, man, this ain't bad. And I was like, I'll keep going. And then I would get to a part, and I'd be like, man, no one's going to fucking believe this shit, dude. And she was like, so what, man? You must include it. It's your truth. If you don't, if you omit it and you live to be 80, you will regret not putting that shit in there. And I was like, you know what? Okay, fuck it, fine. So I wrote it. And here it is. And you can either believe all of this unbelievable fucking shit or you can't. I don't really care, man. But I mean, if anybody out there sat down to write their life story, I'm sure you would have parts in your book that would be unfucking believable to just about anyone but you, because you lived the shit. You've probably had shit happen in your life during which you've said, man, no one, I myself would not believe this had this not happened to me. So this is what happened, man. And yeah, my life has just been full of shit like that. Not so much anymore, man. I sold my haunted house in West Virginia and came to Ohio, a little town in which no one knows me and I don't know anybody here, so I can't get into any trouble that way. It's basically saved my life. It allows me to just stay alive now and just work and write all this crazy shit. So yeah. But yeah, if you like nonfiction and memoirs or autobiographies, I can assure you, you will at least not be bored with Writing and Rising from Addiction. And you'll also see a lot of yourself in this book, I guarantee it. Okay, now what? Apocalyptic tales? Do you like apocalyptic stories? If so, I have a novel called Apocalypse. And this I call my B movie on crack. It's basically I'm not gonna say what, but something turns like half the population on planet Earth into serial killers. And then the other half are like, oh my God, the ones who aren't serial killers, they don't know if the survivors who aren't serial killers indeed are serial killers. No one trusts anyone. It's just madness and mayhem from coast to coast. I mean, it's all over the world, but I just said it. I mean, I'm focused mainly on the United States, but yeah, it's crazy. Apocalypse. And then, of course, my first novel, Shelf Life. It's not the first book I ever wrote, but it's the first one I ever published, and it's about this 8-year-old genius girl named Nina and she gets an inoperable brain cancer, and she meets an 8-year-old boy in the hospital named Tyler, and he has that disease progeria, which is from the Greek for prematurely old. It's the disease that accelerates the aging process by like 8 times the normal speed. So you'll see those 8-year-old kids who look like they're like 70 years old or some shit, you know what I'm saying? 68, 70 years old. Or if they're 10, they look 80. Something like that. But you know what I'm saying? You've seen them, they all look very similar, man. They're young, but they look ancient. And then they die, you know, usually around age 10 or so. But she befriends him. And he, the boy who has progeria, is the son of a single mother who is a Christian, goody two-shoes, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. And then Nina, the 8-year-old genius with brain cancer, is the daughter of a single father who's an alcoholic, drug-taking, rock star type screenwriter in Los Angeles. And she wants to play matchmaker and get them together because she thinks Tyler's goody two-shoes mom can get her dad to stop drinking and taking drugs and living that rock star lifestyle because she's worried about her father, even though she's the 8-year-old with the inoperable fucking brain cancer. And he's the 24-year-old single father. He was 16 when she was born, so he's still a young father. But he takes care of his shit, man. You know, he's good at 24. He's got money and stuff, but yeah, he's not all the way settled down. But anyway, so she tries to hook them up. But in the meantime, she finds out that her real mother, who abandoned her at birth, her name is Lamia, by the way, is one of the sickest serial killers imaginable, and that also now she wants to kill her. So Nina had always wanted to meet her mother, but now she's afraid that her mother wants to meet her. Shelf life. Yeah, that's my first novel. And that's all. Thanks again to you for your interest in my fiction. And thank you, Brianna, for having me as the featured author in your book club. It has been a lot of fun. Hope you all have a great night.